So here in Moodle, I wanted to demonstrate the course completion block, which is a useful block for tracking course completion. You can manage it by automatically having things register as completed, and it gives you a nice visual indication of where students are progressing within the course, and also perhaps areas of the course where students aren't paying attention to particular information or resources that you're sharing with them. So in order to add this, we're going to first come and turn edit mode on, and then up at the top right, we are going to click add block. Once we've done that, we are going to scroll down and find the completion progress block. So we'll click there. Then we'll scroll down, it will add it to the bottom here. We're going to drag that up on the right hand side all the way up to the top just so we can see it for this demonstration. So when we are working with this, we are using the course completion settings. So on the right hand side of activities or quizzes, you may see this mark as done option for students to click. Now when we click those, we just go to overview of students here, it will change from blue to green or from red to green. Red indicates that something is overdue. So perhaps from a previous iteration of this course, the deadline date hasn't been changed for this particular activity. And this just gives us a nice visual indication of where things are. So if I come back to the home page of this class and I mark my online meeting as done and come back to the overview of students, and my block for this particular online classroom has turned green. Now at the moment, if we come back to the main page, I have to click this mark as done option, but I can automatically do that. So if I come to my edit settings here, I can come down to activity completion, and I'm going to unlock the completion settings here. You don't want to do this when students have completed a lot of activities because it will wipe the previous results. But you can see here we've got some options for the completion tracking. So we can ask students to manually mark the activity as completed, or we can say do not indicate activity completion. So for something like the online classroom, I would probably set it to do not indicate activity completion. That will simplify the list of things that we get, and you can see that mark as done is gone. So for this next assignment, you can see I've got mark as done as the option, but if I come into my edit settings and scroll down, I can set some automatic settings here. So under activity completion, students can mark this manually at the moment, but I can change this to show activity as complete when conditions are met. So when I click this, I get some options here. So basic one is students will have to view the activity, students can receive a grade to complete this activity, or students must receive a passing grade to complete the activity. And then the last option is students must make a submission. So we'll just leave that default one checked. We can select a expect completed on dates here. So that will align with your deadlines for your assignment. So the deadline due date for this particular assignment is 4th of March 2024. So we would expect this to be completed on the 4th of March 2024, and then we can set the time as well. So when we save and return to course, so now when I come to this assignment, you can see my to-do here as a student is to make a submission. I can jump into the assignment. I can either upload a submission, or here when we add a submission, we have the option to add online text. We'll click allow for this. So we'll paste in some online text here. We will save our changes, and now our project has been submitted. We'll come back here, submitted for grading. It was late a little bit, but still when we come back to our homepage, if we go to overview of students, so you can see this is the assignment that has been submitted, so it has a checkbox there. So we can do the same type of thing for quizzes as well. So if we come back to our course here, we have our course orientation quiz set up here, and at the moment the settings for this under activity completion are set to student can manually mark the activity as complete, but with a quiz, we would want students to make a submission, so it automatically marks that they've completed that quiz. So we can have students must view the activity to complete it, or students must receive a grade to complete it. I'm going to check students must make a minimum attempt of 1 to complete it. So basically this means that students will have to make an attempt on this quiz. So we'll go back to save and return to course. We'll come to our quiz. You can see we don't have anything marked as complete up here. We'll jump in and do the quiz. I'll change my role to student here quickly, just so that when we attempt the quiz, it actually logs that attempt. So I'm gonna type in some answers here for these questions. We'll finish the attempt, and then we'll submit all and finish, and submit all and finish. Now, if I come back to the home page of the class, you'll see that when I come to my completion settings, I can see those 2 green blocks up there. So now as a student, I can see and hover over what I've completed and what I haven't completed, what's overdue when I see a red mark. So students will get a nice overview of what they have and haven't completed. So where this becomes really useful is when we have a lot of students in a class and we just want to have a quick visual overview of which students have completed things. So I've added a few more completed items in here for different students. We can quickly scan through and see, for instance, which tasks students aren't completing. So the red tasks here, this first assignment, the course orientation quiz are not being completed, and then some of these other items as well, whereas things like the start here option are being completed. So a super useful visual representation of what the students have completed, perhaps where there's gaps where people aren't completing specific tasks, as well as a percentage across on the right, so you can quickly see which students are struggling and where you might need to provide some more support or communication with specific students. So hopefully this is a good overview of the completion progress tool within Moodle. If you do have any questions, then please do get in touch.